Yeah, the real question in this fight is the weight, because at 262 pounds, Tim Johnson is a big man, strong power. Can Said Sowma take that weight and just neutralize it for long enough to where it gets tired and he takes over?
Bellator MMA now presents live on Showtime tonight's co-main event, 3 5-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Introducing first, the blue corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 239.2 pounds. His professional record, 8 wins, 4 defeats. By way of Suriname, he fights out of Coconut Creek, Florida, Said Sowma. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 6'3", weighing in 262 pounds even, the active Minnesota Army National Guardsman, as the professional, stands with 15 victories, 9 losses. Out of Lamberton, Minnesota, he fights out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Introducing Tim Johnson. In charge, your referee, Jason Herzog.
Said Sowma sometimes gets off to slow starts, as John said, but as we continue our honoring the month with the military child, Taden's going to make sure we get a quick start here.
First round, fighter, you ready?
Solid start right there.
Jason Herzog is all in on this. Romance that everyone has enjoyed this week. We saw highlights. You saw as Josh and Amanda were talking. You've seen highlights of Said Sowma. That was Vitaly Minakov he beat in Moscow, the longtime heavyweight champion in Bellator.
Yeah, and look, they had trained a lot together because they both trained the American top team. And so Sowma knew, look, this guy's a better wrestler than me. He is really tough for me to deal with. But let me attack his legs and let me get after him, and he did that so well, and that's what got him the win. Eventually, it was, a dislocation of the finger.
But he was winning.
But he was winning the fight.
Josh and Amanda were saying, Tim Johnson, he's been, it seems like just yesterday, but it was 2 or 3 years ago, he was in this exact same spot on a losing streak on the last fight of his contract, and then we saw the highlights of beating Terrell Fortune and beating Matt Metrione and turning the whole thing around. The Czech Congo fight really got it started for him.
Yeah. And this right here, this is good for Tim because he needs to make Said carry that weight by pressing on him. Just put him in a position to carry the weight for a while. All these little knees and things just start to add up as far as giving the Charlie horse, making the leg feel a little bit heavy. But the one thing that Tim really needs to do when he gets these positions is continue to work. Don't just hold on. Don't try to just hold position. You've got to think about doing something that's going to slow Said down. Sowma in a good position with double underhooks there. That's why you're seeing him be able to turn the position here.
Talked about all the different backgrounds that different fighters come from, and Said Sowma, like a lot of things about him, so unique. He was a swimmer.
But I think that's part of why he is so good with his conditioning and his cardiovascular. He got big lungs from swimming for a long time throughout his youth, and he just can go.
To avoid the slow start, lack of aggression that was costing that sort of that Ben Henderson syndrome. Particularly after when Ben Henderson came over to Bellator, he'd been fighting 5-round fights. And all of a sudden he came and he was fighting elite fighters and fighting 3-round fights. And before you blink of an eye, he was down 1-0 in a 3-round fight.
So, and being a slow starter is something, it's not something you're thinking about doing, you're trying to do. You're trying to get your reads, you're trying to figure out where you think you can attack opponent. But before you know it, the round's gone by. It's not like you've gotten beat up, but you just haven't done enough to win the round, and now you're a round down. In MMA, most of the fights being 3 rounds, that's not an easy thing to overcome.
Tim Johnson, by the way, is a right-handed person who fights southpaw.
That's because of wrestling.
Yep. Good shot by Sowma right down the middle.
A lot of wrestlers lead with that right foot, and if you're used to, if you've done that your whole life, oh, that was a nice high kick by Sowma. If you're used to utilizing that right foot lead, it's easier just to become a southpaw and stand up than try to change your takedowns. Nice job by Tim Johnson.
Sowma saw it coming, felt it coming, and still couldn't stop it.
Sowma doing a good job of at least getting his back. You saw there was that just that moment. His back almost hit the canvas. Instead, he was able to get his hands behind him and get himself with his back against the cage. That's going to make it a lot tougher for Tim. Tim Johnson in a great position, though. This is where he needs to be.
Again, Tim Johnson fighting a smart fight, which is something in his losses, particularly with Fedor. You say, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do A, B, C, D. Then all of a sudden you're in Moscow and Fedor's on the other side, and you're like, let's go. And then the next thing you know, you're looking at the ceiling.
If you're going to look at a fight for Tim Johnson that he really showed, you know, his ability to fight with a fast, smaller as Moldavsky. And boy, he put on such a great performance, and he was so good in the later rounds. He was really coming on.
That was the interim title fight in which Moldavsky held off Tim Johnson, became the interim champion, and eventually when Ryan Bader came back to heavyweight. The older heavyweights and the second chapters with Tim Johnson. We're seeing it now with Linton Vassell.
And those kicks right there, that's what Sowma needs to do. Attack the body, attack the legs. Sowma had some good strikes, especially with the kicks in that. Johnson had some good grappling maneuvers. He landed a couple of good shots. Johnson wearing a little bit of the damage that Sowma created. Those kicks, that's what Sowma needs to go to. Inside, down low, up high, all of them.
And looking at the right knee of Tim Johnson, there was a kick, and as you were talking late in the first round, Said Sowma connected on a pretty good leg kick to Tim Johnson's front leg, that right leg. That's how he beat Medikov. That's how he was beating Medikov before the bizarre finger injury that ended.
Yeah. But Tim Johnson, look, he's not the fastest fighter out there, but I can tell you, I repped him when he was in the UFC, and he was a pure wrestler. He is so much better with his stand-up, because at least now he can be comfortable in the stand-up, and he does have power. He can land the one shot that can put anybody down. He's got that kind of snap when he lands. So with the wrestling, all he needs to do is combine all those elements during the fight. Sowma got, I don't know if he got poked in the eye, hit in the eye, but you can see his one eye is closing as far as he's holding it closed. Sowma needs to turn off of the fence. Don't allow Tim to put your back to the fence. Very nicely done.
Yep. That's why we show you the tail of the tape, because only in the heavyweight division can you have a big disparity like this.
None, it is a big disparity when you're looking at it. The amount of weight differential there is huge, because you're talking multiple weight classes if it was in the lower weights. And we look at heavyweights and go, oh, it doesn't matter. It does, because you're having to carry that weight, push that weight, move that weight. Every time you're seeing Sowma move Tim Johnson, he's moving a lot of weight. Tim Johnson trying to get those hands together. If he doesn't, he might switch to the single leg here. Well, decided to climb back up. Nice job of pummeling inside by Sowma. That's what gets him free.
Yeah, the high kick lands. Said Sowma with the striking, all the work. American top team. You can see one of the great coaches.
You can see the snap on that kick. Look, when he launches, it doesn't look like it. Oh, it's not set up that much. He's got snap on him. The guy really can't kick well. Beautiful front teeth.
Easy taking their toll now. You can see. your weight class, King Mo. Money weight.
Yeah, money weight. There you go. And he didn't matter. Middleweight, light heavyweight, heavyweight.
It's hard to pick, you want to pick a high point in his career, but you and I were both in Tokyo for him winning that first rise in the Grand Prix.
Yep.
And that might have been 2015 King Mo.
Probably the best King Mo there ever was. That front team is
some
money.
serious damage, yeah.
It is money for Sowma. He needs to continue to go back to it. Take a look at those kicks landed. 15 of 21 for Sowma, 1 of 2 for Tim Johnson. So Tim Johnson's being more of the boxer.
See the advantage of Tim Johnson's weight against the cage, but here's the disadvantage. Sowma's just so much quicker here in the middle of the cage.
And if Sowma can continue to put pressure, it makes Tim Johnson work past his comfort zone. All heavyweights want to find that space to catch their breath. Any fighter does. But it's so important with heavyweights. If Sowma can continue to put pressure, it makes things tough on Tim.
Big shots from Tim Johnson, but they're not landing.
Yeah, he's finding it very tough to land a clean shot.
Really good second round for Said Sowma.
Phenomenal coaching. He's doing just a fantastic job. He's one of the great coaches there at American Top. They got a ton.
All these guys now like, hey, do you watch your opponent? No, I just can't. King Mo was watching video clips and breaking that stuff down 10 years ago.
Tim Johnson coming out with some kicks here.
Shots not really doing damage, but they're creating the position along the fence that he wants.
That's exactly what, because you saw it, Tim threw 3 right hands there. Left hand was cocked and ready to go, never threw it because he was more thinking about getting him into that grappling clinch position. But look at what you're seeing with Sowma. Look at the underhooks. He's got the double unders. That's going to allow him to push Tim. He doesn't have to be as strong. He's got a leverage advantage here. Now we're back to being even.
So an escaped elbow as he steps up. The odds mathematically of this ending in a draw is a really long shot, but he can get that ping pong table in there to finish it.
I don't know. From what I saw, I think Sowma had an advantage.
That's what Tim Johnson needed to do in a close fight.
You saw once he got those double unders, that body lock, he was in a great position, did not waste time. Now the big thing is to keep Sowma from being able to turn towards the cage to help him get up. Let's see if Tim Johnson can do some damage down here.
Gotta think at this point, it's either 1-1 or it's 2-0 Sowma. But it could be easily either of those things.
Yep.
Johnson just trying to create an attack that will drive Sowma back to the fence. Kicks that Sowma banked early are paying dividends.
Sowma digging that underhook again.
Yep.
Now he changes position. He's done that continuously throughout the fight. When Tim Johnson has been able to get him up against the cage, Sowma's the one that's digging those underhooks. He changes the position. Sowma needs to break free here. Get back to the kicks. Oh, nice right hand landed there by Sowma. I don't believe it that it hurt Tim, but it was cleanly landed. That's been the biggest difference in this fight, is that front two kick to the body. Tim Johnson has eaten that many times, and it's had an effect. He's had to take some of the gas away. He's been fantastic as far as his conditioning, but it's not easy to eat those. There's your kick. Take a look at those kicks. That's 26 of 42 compared to 6 of 9.
It doesn't show you how heavy they were, and many of them were heavy. See, Tim Johnson, a lot of those punches he's throwing, that percentage is so low because they're just sort of wild shots to get Said Sowma on the defensive so he can get him there. Fans, so many military in the building, and the chant Tim wasn't working. They couldn't get it together, so they figured that Johnson would be a little bit catch on more.
2 syllables working much better.
They tried Army before, that didn't really catch. Probably the 15-minute fight. You got to come up with something quick.
Tim Johnson working hard right to the very end, trying to find that shot. That's nicely done.
Couple of bros battling it out, throwing hands with high stakes here, go the distance.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your 3 judges seated at cage side. All 3, Derek Cleary, Sal D'Amato, Brian Miner, see it exactly the same. They all see it at 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Tim Johnson.
If they had played ping pong, it would have gone past 21, where you got to win by 2. But here you only had to win by 1 round, and Tim Johnson did. He's with John McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Tim Johnson. Tim, that was a tough fight for you based upon just trying to track him down at times. It looked like the range and distance, the kicks that he was throwing were giving you trouble, and you were getting these big lunges trying to get after him to get into your grasp to take him down.
Yeah, I got caught in between a couple. Oh, you want to hold it? Okay. I got caught in between a couple times, figuring out to rush him or try to cut him off, and that front teep was starting to freaking do its justice. I couldn't see it coming. Hey, before I say anything else, or Big John asks anything else, give a round of applause to Said. That's one of the nicest athletes I've ever met in my entire life. He deserves more than applause. And I look forward to watching him the rest of his fighting career.
You have turned from a wrestler into a guy that uses your hands really well, and even in cutting off the cage, he was very good at trying to break through your ability to get that clinch. But when you got that clinch in the 3rd round, right away with that body lock, you got the takedown. Did that help with that confidence in getting this fight?
Yeah, I knew it was close. I mean, who can tell what judges want nowadays? I don't know. You know, I'm cut, I'm bleeding. You know, Said looks like he just came from the spa. I haven't really touched him other than, body shots and leg kicks. I knew I needed a couple takedowns, and I think that last one kind of might have sealed the round for me.
Well, that was a beautiful win in front of the troops here. I know everybody in Minnesota was very happy. I was watching them.
Yeah, absolutely, everyone. Hey, hope you're enjoying the snow up at Camp Ripley, everybody. It's kind of nice out here in Hawaii. First of all, I want to wish my wife a happy birthday. Hope this is a good enough birthday present for you, sweetie.
Sounds good. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Tim Johnson.
Family man, a tough man, a Minnesota man.